Good afternoon. I'm Matt Giacomo and welcome to North Jersey's Afternoon Update. Ridgewood's new master plan is on the horizon, marking the first fully fledged update in over 30 years. The core of the plan is to guide the village's decisions on zoning and landing updates, with many residents noting aging as a top concern. Now, according to U.S. Census data, roughly 14% of Ridgewood's population, which is 25,000 residents, are over 65. Stakeholders said a top priority is identifying problematic intersections in the village, particularly in the downtown area, and making them safer. The first draft will be presented to the planning board on March 3rd. Patterson city officials have dropped plans to convert an industrial building into a hub for start-up catering businesses. Mayor Andre Saya said that he is trying to save the investment by finding another use for the building. Sources say the city proposed turning the building into a command center for the Patterson Fire Department and emergency management services. The mayor said he would announce his backup plans soon. State and federal law enforcement are demanding details about a state senator's former job as a municipal prosecutor in Linden. A grand jury subpoena obtained by USA Today Network New Jersey seeks information related to payroll, court schedules, and time off for Senator Nicholas Scutari. Scutari has been a state senator for 16 years and served as prosecutor in Linden for 15 years. Scutari filed a notice he will sue the city. Police arrested a 16-year-old suspected of making bomb threats to two separate school districts last week. According to the Bergen County PR office, the suspect is accused of using technology to block his phone number to place 6 phone calls on Thursday and Friday to multiple police departments in the area, claiming bombs were on the campuses of schools in Hackensack and Paramus. The suspect was charged with juvenile delinquency and was taken to the County Juvenile Detention Center. Candace Mitchell brings us the details.
Hi, I'm Candace Mitchell, Digital Director for NorthJersey.com and the USA Today Network New Jersey. We're following a national story with bomb threats pouring in via email across the nation. They're going to police departments, news outlets, schools. In New Jersey, we have at least 5 threats. The FBI is aware of all the threats and are working with local law enforcement as they try to deem whether each individual threat is credible or not. Some in North Jersey have already been dismissed as not credible, including 2 schools in Fairlawn and a school in Central Jersey.
A New Jersey woman was questioned after TSA officers detected a loaded handgun inside of a carry-on bag. An officer spotted the gun as it entered the checkpoint X-ray machine at Atlantic City International Airport last Friday. Airport police were notified and confiscated the weapon. The woman was detained for questioning before police released her. This was the first gun caught at the airport so far this year. Theater lovers are in for a treat this spring at no additional cost. The Alliance's Stages Festival is New Jersey's largest annual theater festival, which provides free and discounted theater events for all ages throughout March, April, and May. The Stages Festival offers dozens of performance-based workshops, classes, and events at theater arts centers, libraries, and more throughout the state. For information on events in your area, check out njtheateralliance.org. A southern-based chicken franchise is about to head north for the first time. According to a message on the chain's website, Slim Chickens, which has about 90 locations across the country, will open its first northern location off Route 31 in Flemington. The restaurant is replacing a shuttered Roy Rogers. An official opening day has not yet been announced. Contrary to Slim Chickens, the new Anna Maria's Deli in East Rutherford wants it to be known there's no mayo, mustard, or American cheese. Instead, co-owners Tim Salarone and Anna Maria Andinolfi serve strictly Italian products, including salami, imported provolone, and Italian fontina. The deli is named for Salarone's wife, Anna Maria Andinolfi, who is Italian. The couple owns Elia, the well-received Greek restaurant, which is also in East Rutherford. The deli offers roast beef every day, as well as one special, such as sausage and peppers and eggplant parmigiana. Anna Maria's is open every day from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's all that we have this afternoon in North Jersey, but stay tuned. Your national update is up next. Good evening and welcome to your national news update. I'm Matt Giacomo and here are our top stories for this week. Tornadoes touched down across Tennessee on Tuesday. According to authorities, 25 people are dead and an undetermined number are missing. Tennessee is now under a state of emergency. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee said at a press conference the number of fatalities will likely increase by the end of the day. According to officials, at least 48 buildings are destroyed and about 50,000 homes are without power. Nashville Mayor John Cooper has words of encouragement for both his city and the state.
The damage is devastating, but I am also, like the governor, so encouraged to see Nashvillians out on the streets doing what they do best, which is to help each other. We are resilient and we're going to rebuild.
Molson Coors Brewery in Wisconsin is addressing a shooting that left 5 people dead. They are also responding to claims of tension with the man behind that shooting long before the violence happened. Aaron Mabin reports.
What happened last week was horrifying.
Molson Coors chief of communications one-on-one nearly 1 week after a mass shooting inside the iconic facility.
It's hard to put into words the grief and the trauma and the emotion that people are feeling.
Adam Collins says the company is focusing on helping employees and their families.
We've had employee assistance and counseling services available since the event happened.
It was Wednesday, February 26, when police say a 51-year-old employee opened fire, killing 5 of his co-workers. Police say he was found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound when they arrived.
There's nothing more important than making sure that people have that support as they cope with what happened and as they grapple with what led to it.
And what led to the shooting, causing the gunman to begin shooting in the first place, has not been revealed by the company.
The police have asked us not to speculate about what may have precipitated the shooting. So I want to be respectful of that.
Molson Coors does say the man made a complaint 5 years ago about a noose found in his locker.
The employee was not working that day. It was an off day. Our HR, our company, is the one that brought it to his attention. We investigated it fully. We looked at camera angles to try to understand if we could see who may have placed it there and take action that way. It was inconclusive, unfortunately.
Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett talked to reporters about the shooting Tuesday afternoon.
Obviously, this is a very active investigation as they're trying to determine a motive and the facts surrounding this case.
Former Vice President Joe Biden had a Super Tuesday indeed, and Senator Bernie Sanders wasn't too shabby either. Both presidential hopefuls picked up a lot of pledged delegates as the race for the Democratic primary heats up. John Lorink reports.
Joe Biden scores big on Super Tuesday.
So I'm here to report we are very much alive.
The former vice president is projected to win the most Super Tuesday states, including Texas, and says he'll strive to bring bipartisanship back to Washington.
We can't have a never-ending war between the parties. We need a president who can fight, but make no mistake about I can fight. But look, we need as badly, someone who can heal.
Senator Bernie Sanders also collected a healthy amount of delegates Tuesday and says he's not backing down to Biden.
I tell you with absolute confidence, we are going to win the Democratic nomination.
Or anyone else.
And we are going to defeat the most dangerous president in the history of this country.
Senator Elizabeth Warren's campaign is struggling. She even lost her home state of Massachusetts to Biden.
Cast a vote from your heart and vote for the person you think will make the best president of the United States of America.
Former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg doesn't leave Super Tuesday empty-handed. He won American Samoa.
In just 3 months, we've gone from 1% of the polls to being a contender for the Democratic nomination for president.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, and most recently Mike Bloomberg all dropped out of the race and endorsed former Vice President Joe Biden. We will continue to report results as they release. The United States conducted an airstrike Wednesday against Taliban fighters in Afghanistan accused of attacking an Afghan National Defense and Security Forces checkpoint. CNN's Nick Robertson reports.
But what this airstrike appears to show is that the United States is keeping good on the word that Afghan government officials say they got from the United States. And that was, if the Taliban transgressed from the deal, then the United States would use lethal firepower against the Taliban. It does appear as if the Taliban had become frustrated, perhaps divided internally, but frustrated with the deal that they signed with the United States, because their expectation was the Afghan government would release 5,000 Taliban prisoners by March the 10th, so intra-Afghan talks could begin. The Afghan government has said that that's way too short a time frame, and that's when the Taliban began their attacks. Now, it's not clear if the instructions for the attacks are coming from the senior command in the Taliban, or these are fractious commanders on the ground. But nevertheless, the Taliban have had their answer from the United States. They are sticking to the resolve that they gave the Afghan government, that there's no gap, if you will, between the Afghan government and the United States on this issue. So the Taliban now have to decide, do they go back to the reduction in violence, or do they try to fight their way forward? The ball does seem to be squarely in their court. Nick Robertson, CNN, London.
A Florida congressman makes a statement about coronavirus on the House floor. Representative Matt Gaetz, a Republican, wore a gas mask on Wednesday during a vote on emergency funding to fight the spread of coronavirus. It would put billions of dollars to combating coronavirus as concerns rise over the spread of the disease. The move comes as the number of cases of the virus in the U.S. rises above 100, and the number of deaths approaches a dozen. However, Vice President Mike Pence says the American public's risk of contracting the novel coronavirus, quote, remains low, stressing that there is no need for Americans to buy masks. Gaetz ultimately voted in support of the bill. Speaking of the coronavirus, some optimistic developments today when it comes to combating the disease. Vice President Mike Pence announced testing on the virus can go forward without, quote, any additional assets or resources from the federal government. The plan will be enacted across the country for all laboratories at the state level. Alex Trebek is making it clear he is not giving up. The official Twitter account of his game show Jeopardy shared video of Trebek talking about his prognosis. 1 year ago, he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He says the 1-year survival rate for stage 4 pancreatic cancer is only 18%.
The 1-year survival rate for stage 4 pancreatic cancer patients is 18%. I'm very happy to report I have just reached that marker. Now, I'd be lying if I said the journey had been an easy one. There were some good days, but a lot of not so good days. I joked with friends that the cancer won't kill me, the chemo treatments will. There were moments of great pain, days when certain bodily functions no longer functioned, and sudden massive attacks of great depression that made me wonder if it really was worth fighting on. But I brushed that aside quickly because that would have been a massive betrayal.
Trebek ended his update urging people to keep a positive attitude and promising to keep everyone posted. That's all we have for this afternoon's report, but stay tuned. We'll be right back with you for tonight's New York Sports Update. I'm Matt Giacomo. Stay tuned. Good afternoon and welcome to the Big Red Sports Block. I'm your host, Matt DiGiacomo, and there's plenty to cover today in the world of New York sports. We'll have some spring training updates from the Mets and Yankees, plus Rangers and Islanders news as the NHL season nears its frantic conclusion. But first, the latest out of Harrison, New Jersey. The New York Red Bulls opened their 25th MLS season at home against the second-year expansion FC Cincinnati, looking for their first 3 points of the season. New York Red Bulls are quick to get started early on. It's Florian Vallet with the perfect pass over to Kyle Duncan, who makes no mistake in beating goalkeeper Spencer Ritchie for both his and the New York Red Bulls' first goal of the 2020 season. The pressure stays on after an errant clear by Spencer Ritchie. It's Duncan with the perfect pass to Valet, threading the needle to Kakru, who makes no mistake in squaring himself to the shot. It's a 2-0 Red Bulls lead. Now, late in the first half, a defensive miscue by the Red Bulls allows Cincinnati to press forward. Brandon Vasquez is able to dodge Amro Tarek, makes the cross over to Alan Cruz, and now in the first half's extra time, Cincinnati has life. The Red Bulls respond, however, in the second half. It's Kyle Duncan once again driving the play forward to a wide-open Danny Royer, crosses through the penalty area, and makes no mistake in putting the Red Bulls up 3-1. Devastating chance to Cincinnati's comeback hopes. And the Red Bulls are looking to close out the day with a win. But look out! It's Christian Cáceres with the defensive miscue, Tim Parker with the wipeout. And though Jurgen Locadia is alone, David Jensen makes the initial save but is unable to stop Locadia as he gives Cincinnati some desperation attempt at the final minutes. But it's not enough as the New York Red Bulls pull through. They open their season with big 3 points in their first win. Their next match is March 7th against Real Salt Lake. Now, moving on in other news, meanwhile, on the other side of the Hudson River, NYCFC dropped their season opener in Columbus 1-0. Their home opener is scheduled for Saturday, March 14th against FC Dallas at Yankee Stadium. The New York Mets continue their spring training down in Port St. Lucie, where J.D. Davis has resumed normal baseball activity just over a week after an injury scare. Davis had took a hard landing on his left shoulder during a game and received a diagnosis of swelling in his left shoulder. Davis confirmed that a labrum tear discovered during an MRI exam was an existing injury and not a new one. Matt Adams has been cleared to resume baseball activities after missing 5 days of workouts to undergo cardiac testing. According to General Manager Brodie Van Wagenen, Adams underwent testing in New York. Just last week, Brandon Nimmo left camp for cardiac testing after a previous diagnosis confirmed an irregular heartbeat. Nimmo has also been cleared to resume baseball activities. Pete Alonso joined the broadcast team earlier this week in a manner of speaking. According to Anthony Giacomo of MLB.com, Alonso gave Major League Baseball approval to put a microphone on first base during games in their regular season in order to help grow the game. Alonso was mic'd up for the Mets preseason game against the St. Louis Cardinals and provided commentary live from first base.
Run it! Got him, baby. Good throw. Oh, got him. The pitch, the relay. Rene Rivera cut down Tommy Evans.
And Rene Rivera.
First, 1 out.
That's pretty good.
While the player won't wear a microphone like Alonso did Wednesday, the league would put a device near the bag to pick up audio. We could potentially hear more in-game commentary from the first baseman in 2020. New York Yankees general manager Brian Cashman disclosed he didn't expect Aaron Judge to be in the opening day lineup due to concerns about both his shoulder and pectoral muscles. Judge, who has been undergoing medical testing, is still unsure of the nature of his injury. According to Brian Hotch of MLB.com, he said many of the tests have returned clean and that he continues to be examined until doctors can find an answer. Judge will have less than 3 weeks to resume baseball activity in time for the Yankees' opening day. It could be the first opening day he misses since joining the team in 2017. The Yankees announced yesterday Luis Severino underwent Tommy John surgery at the Hospital for Special Surgery in New York. The surgery went as planned, but for Dr. David Altchek, there was a slight catch. An existing bone chip in Luis Severino's right elbow was identified and removed during the procedure. Severino missed nearly all of the 2019 season due to an inflamed rotator cuff and subsequent latch strain. He returned just in time for postseason action last September. The surgery will keep Severino off the field until at least the 2021 season. Kelly Rodman, an amateur scout in the Northeast area for the Yankees since 2017, passed away this week at 44 years old. The team announced Rodman's passing on Twitter and held a moment of silence for her prior to their spring training game later that same day. Rodman attended Major League Baseball School for Prospective Scouts in 2013 and joined the Yankees a year later as an associate scout. In 2019, she was one of the team's representatives at the annual amateur draft. With less than 20 games left for both the Rangers and Islanders, the NHL playoff race is at a fever pitch. If we take a look at the NHL standings up here, we can see exactly how close the race has gone for the once surging Islanders and how much the now surging Rangers have narrowed the gap to the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Now, the Rangers are just 2 points away. They are 17-11-0 in 2020. They've also won 10 of their last 13 games. The Islanders, meanwhile, started 16-3-1 in their first 20. They're 10-12-5 in 2020 and 19-20-6 since they started the season on that tear. Now, the question is, will the Rangers make the playoffs? And smart money says yes. The Blue Shirts continue to surge while the Islanders continue to find ways to lose games, unlike themselves earlier on in the NHL season. Now, with the Rangers' strengths like Mika Zibanejad, Artemi Panarin, Ryan Strome, the depth scoring and strong performances in goal, odds are in their favor. The Islanders have one last chance on Saturday to make any lost ground before they will likely lose their playoff positioning. And that's all the time that we have for you today. Thank you for tuning in to Big Red Sports. I'm Giacomo, and I'll see you next time.